Yet? Ah, 3 people. Okay. Please say hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I am in the middle of a shrine at night. So this is about as Japanese as you can get. Oh, a moth just flew by. And an old man was just praying. So do me a favor and share this video. I think this is kind of neat, huh? Look at that. Middle of a shrine. Yeah. And I'm going to be teaching you just a little bit of Japanese today while I drink a strong zero, because it wouldn't be a video without strong zero. Wouldn't you agree? So I'm going to take off my shoes. I just wanted to come out and do this because I like you guys. I like communicating with you guys, even though this channel is unmonetized. I don't think, can an unmonetized channel even get donations? I don't even know. Not that I'm asking for a donation, I'm just curious. I honestly don't know. But, whoops. What we're going to do is pop out the strong zero. I just had a class. I teach a private class in my neighborhood. Cheers, everyone. Cheers if you're there. Kanpai. Okay. So, first of all, I was proofreading a new lesson for Maggie Sensei's Patreon. And whenever I proofread these lessons, I learn something. And today, I learned something that I'd never seen before. And it's the expression isho. Well, first of all, she's teaching how to use isho, which means together. So let's just look at that word alone, just so you can see. And I'm going to put this on the screen. I'm going to use, let me see how I can add this. Add to the screen right there. How do I choose? How do I choose a share screen? Okay. Application window. And we want to use, I believe, this one. Okay, there we go. So we are now studying. So this is the word isho, which means together. Right? Very simple. Together. Also means the same. So isho desu. Isho, and it's small. And this is the just so we get the whole thing here. I'll put it in the comment section so you guys can see it. This is a very basic Japanese word. Okay. There we go. And it means together, and it also means the same, or at the same time, as you can see from the definition there. Now, when I was proofreading Maggie Sensei's new lesson. This is actually a lesson that's going to appear on Patreon now. If you're on Maggie Sensei's Patreon page, you will see this. If you're not, you'll see it in a few weeks. But she mentioned a word that I'd never noticed before, and that word was ishokuta. Yes, ishokuta, which means, ishokuta is just a group of something, okay? It's when you put things together, like mushima, lump them together, okay? It's a lump. So things are mixed up, that's a lump, ishokuta. And I realized it's used in this expression, which I will put, oh, this will work good, okay? And I will put this in the comments so you can see it. There's mosquitoes in here, but I put on mosquito repellent. And also I'm incredibly resilient to mosquitoes. So this is the comment. Here we go. Now that we Americans are an international embarrassment, you non-Americans can remind your Japanese friends that you are not one of us by saying this the next time. Okay. So this is the actual expression. And I guess it doesn't fit. Hold on. Let me write that into one comment. This is the comment we want to concentrate on. Okay. This is the Japanese lesson for you. Okay. America jin to ishokuta ni shinai de kure. Kure is a very casual way to say please. Please do not group me or do not lump me with Americans. So let's say you're a Canadian, okay? Kimi wa Canada jin desu. Remember, adding a jin to the end of your nationality means you're a member of that country. Me being American, I'm America jin desu. A Japanese person is a Nihonjin desu. A carrot is a ninjin desu. That's just a joke in there. It has no relation to it. But an American is an Americajin desu. Canadian person is a Canadajin desu. And on and on. French people are Franzjin desu. German people are Deutschjin desu. It goes on and on. You should learn your country if you're learning Japanese for the first time. Learn what you are. But here's the point. The sentence here is, I am not American. Please do not group me with Americans. This is an example sentence, of course, because I am American, right? So, Amerikajin to ishokuta ni shinai de kure. Or kudasai if you want. Instead of kure, you could say kuremasu ka or kudasai. Please do not group me with Americans. Now, if you are an American and you don't want to be grouped with the crazy Americans that are in the news right now, doing all the crazy stuff, you can use this sentence. Excuse me. There we go. And this is the sentence here. Cheers. Thanks for dropping by. We're having a strong zero Japanese lesson in the middle of a shrine at 10 p.m. Actually, 10:30, almost. So the next sentence is, please don't lump me in with all the other Americans. In this case, we would say hokano. Hokano means other. Hokano Amerikajin, with other Americans. To, with. Isho, together. Ishokuta, don't lump me in. Ishokuta ni shinaide. Shinaide is don't. Kure, please. So please is kure. Let's go backwards. Kure, please. Shinaide, don't. Ishokuta, lump me in. Amerikajin to, with Americans. And hokano, other. So don't lump me in with other Americans. Don't lump me in with other Americans. Hokano Amerikajin to ishokuta ni shinaide kudasai. So that's a lesson that I learned from Maggie Sensei today. Well, she didn't make that sentence. I made the sentence, but she used the Japanese ishokuta, which I had never seen before. Somehow, even being conversational in Japanese doesn't mean you know everything. Of course not. Even in English. Anyway, that's the first thing I wanted to point out to you. The next thing I wanted to point out to you today is just a minute. Just a minute. Hold on. Oh, no, I got it wrong. Yeah, Tsuyu. There we go. Tsuyu. This is Tsuyu now. It's Tsuyu season, so this is a word you must know. Not a difficult word. And I'll write that out for you so you can see it. Tsu. Oops. Tsu. Come on, man. Tsuyu. You can hear the rain? You can hear the thunderstorms? Well, that's actually, that's a train. Okay. Rainy season. And there's a big joke in Japan. There are actually 5 seasons in Japan, right? There's summer, there's a spring, summer, fall, winter, and of course there's rainy season. Rainy season is known as tsuyu. Interesting thing about this tsuyu kanji is that the first kanji means plum, as you can see there. So I don't know why they call it plum season. I should look that up. There's probably a word. And the second kanji means rain. Now usually that kanji alone is pronounced as ame. Ame, like American ame. America, ame. Easy to remember, rain. Just ame. But for some reason, yeah. I don't know why. Maybe it's because plums, or that's when plums grow. Who knows? There's probably some reason. Anyway, it's early June to mid-July. That's called tsuyu. So tsuyu will last another couple weeks. It hasn't been too bad yet, but it's going to be raining really hard. We're going to have tomorrow in Japan. I'll give you a very simple word. We're going to have oame. Oame. See the mosquito? Come on. Out of here, mosquito. Oame, which is, oh man. This word here. Let's try that again. Oame. Oame. Big rain, literally big rain. So big storms are coming. Big storms are coming. Here's the basic Japanese we should learn. But that is not why I have gathered you here tonight. Oh, that's not why. A lot of good lessons. For those of you who are just arriving, we've already done some basic Japanese. Let's go back and review very quickly. Isho, together. Ishokuta, lump together. Isho ni shinai de kure. Ishokuta ni shinai de kure. Don't lump me together. And the example sentences there are, if you're not American, you can say Amerikajin to ishokuta ni shinai de kure. Don't lump me in with Americans. I'm a foreigner, but I'm not an American. If you are an American, but you don't want to be lumped in with other Americans, you can say Hoka no Amerikajin to ishokuta ni shinai de kure. They're all in the notes above. And you can also, you should know the word tsuyu, which is rainy season, and oame, which is big rain. It's going to rain this week. Tomorrow we're supposed to have oame. And oame, the kanji of oame, by the way, are just big, literally big rain, see? Large, big, and then rain. Yeah, heavy rain. Well, big, I like the word big rain better. Heavy is a different kanji. Now today, the headline of this video is ikigai. So I want to break that down for you. First, let's talk about iki. Iki just means to live. Oh, here, it also means one way, of course, yuki or iki. But in this case, it comes from ikiru, which is to live. Hold on. Let's come up. Ikiru means to live. Ikiru. Ima ikiru is the way Japanese say seize the day, as in the Robin Williams movie. What was that called? Captain, My Captain. I forgot what that was called. Did I? What wasn't ikiru? Did I put in the wrong? Oh, I put in the wrong kanji. Of course, that's stupid. I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. This is the kanji. You may notice. Okay, hold on. Excuse me. Squeeze me. This is already gone somewhere. Okay, there we go. This is ikiru, which means to live. That first kanji also is very important if you're a beer drinker, because it means nama, which is beer on draft. So if you go to a restaurant and you want to order a beer, you're going to want to order nama. Okay? Nama can mean raw, but it's the way you order a beer. Nama. Icho. One beer, please. But today we're talking about ikiru, which is to live, to exist. Yes? Now, that's the first part of ikigai, which is today's word. If we look up kai, there it is. This is kai. Okay. Now, kai is a completely different word. This just means worth together. And it's pronounced kai, like so. And let's just put that out for you. That's basically worth. Okay? If you put them together, it kind of makes sense. Ikiru means to live. Let's put that again, right? Ikiru. Oops, come on. Ikiru means to live. Yes. And kai means worth. Okay, so we've got these. Yes, ikiru to live and kai to worth. And put them together, notice the pronunciation changes to ikigai with a G. Ikigai, like so. And that's basically reason for living. What is your reason for living? And I have not looked that up, actually. Let's look it up. See what the dictionary says. Ikigai. Whoops. Ikigai. It says something, one purpose in life. Your reason d'être. I don't know what that means. I don't speak French. Anyone speak French? Okay, so this is the word that actually Kelly Morita, I believe that's her name, is doing a program soon in September. She's going to release her program on ikigai. So cheers for her. She's going to try to help some of you find what your reason for living is. I don't want to speak too much about it because, it's her program. I don't really know exactly what she's doing. But it reminds me of a story. And I want to tell you a story of how I learned this word for the first time. For those of you who are just joining me, thank you for joining me. By the way, I am in a shrine in Japan, having a strong 0. Let me switch over so you guys can see. How do we do this? Stop screen share. Yeah, there we are. See? I am currently sitting under the roof of a public shrine. The lights are always on here. I don't know why, but lucky for us, because now we have free. We have free lighting. What if a hand came out of there and grabbed me and choked me? That would be pretty scary, huh? It's pretty cool that you can do this. This is Japan's religion, right? You can sit out in the middle of a shrine and have a drink, cheers, and do a live show. I rather enjoy that. Anyway, no comments from the Peanut Gallery. Are you guys there? What's coming? I don't see any comments from anybody. Is anybody there? Say hello. Let me say hello to somebody. Give me somebody to say hello to before I continue. I will continue with my story. A very provocative story. Well, no one's going to say hello now. Okay. I will continue regardless. Let me tell you this very interesting story about how I learned the meaning of ikigai, which means reason for living. So I came to Japan about 30 years ago, 1991. I guess that means, 30 years ago this year. There we go. Hello, Caroline. Hey, Ridal. Hello from Lurker in the Shadows, Shikibata. Thank you for commenting. Thank you. I like to, looking at numbers, it's kind of, I just see the number 12 now. So, okay, so this is a story. I came to Japan 30 years ago, and I was working at a small school up in, where was it? Tajimi. In Tajimi, yes, which is about 40 minutes away. Up in Gifu. That school is now defunct. It's out of, went out of order. Went out of business. Yeah, I speak English. And I was the owner of the school was this kind of skebe guy. Skebe means like pervert. Skebe, kind of a skebe guy. I won't even tell you the name, but it's kind of a skebe guy. And I remember once he took me into his he was really proud of his things. He's like to show off. He had a nice car. I don't remember the car, but he had a nice car. He showed it off to me. I try to be impressed. I'm not very impressed with material goods. And he took me into the second floor, which is over his office. And he had this big TV, which must have been like 21 inches. In those days, that's a big deal. It's 30 years ago, right? And he showed me, he opened up a drawer, a panel on the wall. It was full of porno. And I was supposed to be impressed, right? But, I'm not the kind of guy who would be impressed by that. But he's my boss. So, I was polite. Luckily, he didn't ask me to stay and watch porno with him, which would have been really awkward. Anyway, so I was working at that school, and he was a divorced guy who was completely whipped by his ex-wife. His ex-wife, by the way, was an American who lived in California, and she was this extremely strong and rather large woman. Like she was 250 pounds, 300 pounds. Very, very big woman. He was overweight too. He must have been about maybe 200 pounds himself, but short, much short, maybe less, but he was short and soft and round. And she had divorced him and married. This sounds almost like a fake story. It almost sounds fake, but she had divorced him and married this big black guy, and moved back to California with their daughter. And he was completely whipped by her, and he would go and visit them and stay in their house together, right, to visit his daughter, which must have been pretty castrating psychologically for him. But he was a lonely guy. He watched a lot. He wasn't an unattractive guy. I mean, he was regular, and he had money, but he had no self confidence, I guess, and he was looking for a woman. Anyway, I was a really good teacher at that school, but the truth is, he wanted to hire a woman teacher that he could hit on, and he had met one of my friends, who I will call Susan. It's not a real name, but I will call Susan. And he hired my friend Susan to work at his school, and he fired me. But the contract said he's supposed to tell me that he's going to let me go, but he didn't. He just told her he was going to hire her, and then I kind of put two and two together, and I realized that he's going to let me go. And then my students found out, and I was a good teacher. So one of my students, this woman, which I will call Yuki, just to make it simple, Yuki, and I was teaching Yuki and her daughters. Was it one or two? She has two. I don't remember if I was teaching both of them, but I was teaching at least one. And her daughter was young, elementary school. And they found out that I was going to be let go. So they came to my house and they asked me if I would teach privately. And I said, sure. Yeah, why not? And they said, we'll pay you 12,000 yen an hour, which is about 114 bucks. I don't know, somewhere around there. Yeah. Okay. It's quite a bit of money. And this was 30 years ago. Okay. So 120 bucks. And she wanted to take it twice a week. She wanted to take classes once with her daughter, and she wanted to take once by herself. Okay. And she was a very attractive 35-year-old, I guess, 34-year-old, whatever. I was 22. And her husband was about 40. And her husband was this extremely rich industrialist. I won't say too much about him because there's a very slight chance, minute chance that someone who knows these people may put two and two together. But anyway, he was also a philanderer. And by chance, he was dating a girl in my Japanese school. And I don't remember her name, but she was a gaijin. So I went to Japanese school, and one of my classmates was this blonde woman from America. I think she was American. Maybe she might have been Canadian, but anyway, she was Canadian or American. We weren't that close or anything, but she was pretty cool. She was pretty relaxed. And she made money on the side by being a hostess girl, which means she would serve drinks to Japanese men. Hey, hello, Andy. And she was having an affair with my student's husband. Now, I never told anybody in my Japanese school that I was teaching this girl, this classmate's boyfriend. She was. You could say she's a prostitute, but basically she was like a willing customer. Most hostess girls are not prostitutes. They just serve drinks to you. And if they feel like it, they might sleep with you. And I guess if you have enough money, you can kind of buy them enough presents, Okay, you can call her a prostitute if you want. I can understand why that would be used. By the way, an amazing word in Japanese is the word prostitute. If you don't know, does anyone know how to say? The bug over there? Prostitute in Japanese. Very interesting way. It's bai shun, which is a beautiful word because it means selling spring. Bai shun, and it means literally. I'm going to put this up for you because we're supposed to be learning some Japanese here. Sell spring, aka prostitute. Prostitute. For those of you who are just coming in, I am recording live. I'm doing a live show from a shrine with a cold one. Okay, so that's a funny word. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? I mean, a prostitute sells you spring. I guess makes a man feel like he's young again. Who knows? Anywho, let's go back to, we're talking about ikigai. So this, my classmate my Japanese classmate was having an affair with the husband of the woman I was teaching, and she knew that he was cheating on her because he had done it many, many times before. And she could not speak English very well, and I could not speak any Japanese really, or very little Japanese. But I taught her for a couple of years, and as her English improved, she was a very diligent student. As her English improved, she was able to tell me more about her situation, which was basically that her husband was cheating on her and treated her very badly. There was one very embarrassing case in which, well, I'll just tell you what happened. One day she's at home and she gets a knock on the door, and a woman claims to be a jeweler and tells her that her husband put a down payment on a ring for a woman, and she assumed it was the wife, right? And he hasn't paid the what is called he hasn't paid off the ring, so he still owes for the ring. Okay, and to save, I guess the jeweler assumed that the ring was for the wife, but the wife knew that the ring was obviously for one of his girlfriends. So and they were very, very wealthy, so she just went into the back room, took out some cash, and paid her off. But she said it was incredibly humiliating, or maybe I just read that into it. But she was upset about it, obviously. She's like, that's the kind of husband I have. He buys rings for other women, and he never even knew that she had paid off his debt. Right, his own wife has paid off his debt, and his wife treated her horribly. And this is when I learned the word ikigai, because his wife, her husband said to her, "What is your ikigai?" But he said it in a really derogatory way, like, "Why the hell are you still alive? Why are you alive? Why are you alive? What's the point of you living? What's your reason for living? There's no reason for you to be alive." And I didn't understand that word at all when she said it. And I mean, if you look it up, it doesn't really translate well. But I mean, especially in those days, 30 years ago, the dictionary we were using at least didn't really explain it well. But I figured it out. Basically, he was telling her, why the fuck are you still alive, woman? You're just a plague. He hated her for some reason. Yeah. And it was a sad case because she was a really nice woman, and she had two beautiful daughters that she treated very, very well, and they were and I taught her and her daughter. They were really good kids. And I remember that she had maybe this is why her husband was being a dick to her, which I'm not I'm not excusing the behavior, of course, but she had gone through the front window of her car in a car accident. And her face, if you looked, you didn't have to look too closely, but her face was full of scars because glass had been embedded in her face. And she wore a lot of makeup. So, I didn't really, I don't think I even noticed, because I just thought she wore a lot of makeup. I think she pointed it out to me once. She said, "Look at these scars. This is," I think her nose had been rebuilt and everything. Anyway, long story short, she had a car accident. She went through the front windshield and destroyed her face. And she was a very beautiful woman, despite that. A very attractive woman, but she's all scarred up. And I guess her husband, after they had kids. Well, they had two kids though. I don't know when the accident happened, but her husband was a dick to her, and sleeping around. Oh, but this is the funniest thing about her husband. He was balding. Okay, which it's not a big deal. I mean, I would not think anything. I would never criticize a guy for going bald. I mean, we're all going bald in some way or another. We're all old. We're all aging. Got quite a bit of gray hair there on the sides, as you can see. So I would never criticize the man for that. But what was funny about that was his girlfriend, who was my classmate, remember, from Japanese school, she told us that after they made love, she would want to rub her hands through his hair. I don't know. And he would refuse, like, don't touch my hair. He's like, leave my hair alone. He was paranoid about losing his hair. I can't say I paid much attention to his hair. But he was that kind of guy, the kind of guy who needed to drive a Ferrari to show off and sleep with hostess girls, buy them rings, and treat his wife like shit, and ask her what her ikigai was. What is your reason for living? And that's how I learned that word. And it's been, and I never forgot it. You know, that's a way to learn something. You know, you learn it. You learn one word at a time that way. You never forget it. Anyway, that's today's lesson. I hope you guys learned something. It was fun for me just to visit the YouTube community. I haven't been on for a while. Oh, I got hit by a car last week. Yeah, that's why. You know, yeah, I was. It wasn't not a big deal. I wasn't hurt at all, but I was driving. I'll tell this story, I guess. Not a big deal, but I was just driving to work, riding my bicycle to work. Not driving, riding my bicycle to work, and a woman in a car suddenly turned left and did not see me, although I could see her in her side mirror. She wasn't paying attention. She turned right into me and completely fucked up her own car. And kind of fucked up my bicycle a little bit, but I was not hurt. But she was going pretty slow. In fact, it was kind of sad because my bicycle handlebar slowly scratched a long line into the side of her car, and I just felt bad for her car, you know. But I didn't get hurt at all. Now I had a car accident. I mean, I had an operation about 2 months ago. No, about a month and a half ago. So I was, you know, slightly worried that it had, you know, split open or something, but I was fine. I was fine. Anyway, but that took up a lot of time last week. Insurance and cops and missed work and having to make up for that. So because I spent 2 hours there. Anyway, but I will tell you something. Being in a car accident, and this is like my fifth one now. 3 times on a motorcycle. I guess this is my 4th one, and the 4th time on a bicycle. Surviving always makes you feel alive. Oh, you know what it was? Yeah, not dying and surviving my operation a month ago also made me feel very alive. I had this pretty scary operation a month and a half ago. Which I've never made a video about yet, but I have not made a video about yet, but I should. I had an emergency operation for a hernia about 6 weeks ago, and surviving that made me feel so good, and getting hit by a car made me feel slightly pretty good. It wasn't that scary, to be honest. But when I remember getting hit by cars when I was on my motorcycle and being totally destroyed, like fingers broken and black and blue, bike completely destroyed, made me feel so alive. So that gave me ikigai. It gave me more of a reason for living. I don't know if that's ikigai, but it really made me feel alive. So not that I would recommend you go out and get hit by a car, but you know, if those of you who've experienced what I've experienced, maybe you'll understand. And if you haven't, well, hopefully you will survive some kind of dangerous situation sometime and feel good about it. Then you'll get what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to come on and say hello and teach a little Japanese. Thanks for watching, everyone. Last view of the shrine, the beautiful shrine that we're just hanging out at tonight. And see you very soon. I do have another video that I've already prepared. I prepared last week, but I just haven't had time to edit. But I'll do that soon. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. Take care. Don't get hit by a car.